Hi, Celeste. Welcome to my podcast.
I am glad to be here.
Congratulations that I just see that Grieft has been awarded a prestigious scholarship from female founders. And you, like, as a founder, recently participated in an event called Day Shape Tomorrow in Vienna. Vienna is one of my favorite cities in Europe, and it's really interesting that uh, the very like classical city combines the vibe of technology. I'm really curious about the event, so can you share us more about your experience and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm like really honored to be invited and got the scholarship to head to Vienna for this event. And through this, let's talk about the overall doc economics for a startup. So I think this trip has empowered me to learn more about the economics and startup scenes in the DACH region. And when I'm saying DACH, it's a German-speaking area, which is Austria, German, and Switzerland. And we discovered that in the EU, teams with at least one female founder raised only 16% of funding rounds in 2023. Given that Europe is on track to raise 45 billion of capital in 2023, the 16% equals to approximately 7.2 billion pounds. Furthermore, like all women founding teams only receive 7% of the founding rounds. So I learned a lot about like how the doc in terms of like investments, startup, economics, and EU compare with the UK. And this had helped me to have more mindset because obviously, like Europe, it's a congregation of a lot of countries and a lot of opportunities. But it gives me it gives me a hindsight of how whether I should set up the business in the UK or in Austria or in general. Yeah, I learned a lot. It was a profound journey. Like I met a lot of founders, met a lot of investors, and like hearing people doing what they are doing, it's exciting.
I think there must be a very exciting event and experience for our audience that Celeste is a friend of mine. We met at the very beginning I remember that we met at Hume Discord channel, and you are
Yeah.
not only an art designer, but also now you are currently building an AI product called Grieft. So can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah. So my background came from I used to study graphic design and then I pivoted to UI and UX design in a digital agency. Later on, I went back to art direction and branding, that sort of more visual tackling and communication management. But later on, I realized that what really inspired me is to create a digital product. So I went into in-house product company. I built an app and I work with a Singaporean-based startup. And we built an app that is for job searching and job hunting. Then I got the opportunity to come to the UK, and I started to contracting. Then maybe I'll touch a little bit on why I started what I'm doing. So in recent years, a lot of my friends, including myself, my families, are experiencing the difficult times in our lives. Like for me, the definition of grief is losing something or someone that's important in your life. And I have two kinds of feeling, which is I feel like I realize everyone's journey is different because I have my beliefs. I'm a Christian, so I digest this concept. I think it's faster than my family because I came from Taiwan, where we are normally believe in Buddhism and Tao. Um, and this plus with the other, like my parents came from the baby boomer generation. So I guess it's like another extra layer of harder for them to show their fragileness and their weakness. Like they are being told to be strong, to being able to navigate through things. And while I'm here in the UK, my mom was really fragile, maybe still is, but she's trying to hold everything up. And I feel like I don't know what I can do for her to show my support. But at the same time, some of my friends and personally, I'm like losing jobs or losing like something else, something important. So I experienced that grief as well, but I don't know how to show my support. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, how am I share my journey of navigating through my weakness, my downtime to others? I've tried several apps or talking to friends. That's most of the people do. But oftentimes it makes me feel really sad in being within that community or within that environment. And at the point, I have the turning point that I realize I actually like sadness, and it's something that's nothing bad or wrong. It's actually beautiful. And a lot of people, just because of the stigmas or because of that, maybe at their educations or maybe their backgrounds, like they think that like you cannot show that you are weak or it's bad to be sad. You don't impact the other people. I started this concept of grief, and at first it was really like diverge. Like I have couple wild ideas that such as having a VR shrine or AI shrine. So people they can build their little memorial spots with the things that they love. Or I have another idea, which is to make a customized font of the one that you lost. And then maybe we can generate some content from the AI and then they use their fonts so that you can receive this letter and it feels like the one who passed away writing a letter for you. And I don't know, like I love these wild ideas, but we did pre-market survey and I realized that people that who are in this journey, they are looking for its support and resources. And like, just like myself, like we are seeking out for things that can help us to navigate through this process or to getting things better or to at least just to balance the life out. So the survey is quite important and that somehow shape our following on journey. The other thing that I notice is seeking for professional help. It's difficult for some people because mental support or to talk with a therapist or to look for a consultant or like a psychologist, it seems like something quite important or quite severe. It feels like it's only something that I can do when I'm not being able to perform myself well. But that's not true, right? We all know that in this civil world, we live in a big city. You definitely have something like one or two things that that you cannot get over with.
Yeah,
Either it's
probably sometimes
relationship.
you just don't know you need that.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you don't know that you need that. And so I want to fill the gap of seeking for professional help as well. Like for me, this app, it's a unity app for support you when people cannot be there for you, or at least that's something that's a gift that you can give to someone that encourage them to seek support or to self-support. That's how I position it. And then yeah, speaking about Hume and AI, saw Hume AI, it's being released. I was so excited. I was like when it first had the demo, I spent a lot of times on it. I chat with the AI. I loved it. And it helps me a lot actually. It helped me personally. And that's why I think that it can work if we include this function or this AI companionship in our app. Speaking back, we want to include AI companionship and we want to encourage people to seek for professional help. So there will be scheduling consultants or therapy or like any other professional help that you can look for. It will that you can easily to find in the app and you can book just like at Calendly or just I don't want to say Airbnb, but I try to streamline the experience and process and maybe you can have a trial talk or maybe you can like just try to talk to people, and if it works, then it works. If not, then our app just nudge you and try to ask you to do more. Don't give up. But basically, that's our main concept.
Yeah, it's a long story, and I think you are the very like unique founder who has the demand of ourselves that we actually need this product for like just for us. I want to dive in one point, as you mentioned before, that there are a lot of people that don't know what they need. I think this is a same question when we talk to the users of the Gen AI technology today. As an example, that when we open ChatGPT, that one sentence we see at the very beginning is that ask anything you want, or I'm here if you need anything. But it turns out to be that users are feeling difficult to like ask questions. So as you mentioned that when we are building like AI companion products, how do you encourage users to ask what they want?
I think that's one of the things that we are trying to incorporate into our user journey. So we try to personalize everything through AI, which is what I mean is we will have a self check-in just like any other therapy. Like you can log into the app, we will ask like, how are you feeling today? Then there will be several tips that shows different emotions. So it's just a self check-in that this is something that you will need to do before seeking to a consultant. So it's basically like a self-assessment. But other from that, I would love to, because the Hume that it can collect these emotions, what I call emotion metrics. So it will record down how the users is feeling now. So what I'm trying to do is to through the users talk to Hume or the AI, that we collect this emotions metrics so that we can personalize their following experience instead of relying all based on how the user is feeling themselves. But definitely that's one of the important information source. So we will try to combine these two, and then maybe we can have a summary to the consultants, or we definitely will personalize their following experience, such as we will prompt more. Let's say the user is feeling sad, and we know that they are because that's because they lost their grandparents. So the following educational resources within Grieft will be like losing someone you love, more of like bereavement, and we will prompt more guided practices for that. But it's my personal experience because apart from or before I built Grief, or I'm still working with several products and companies, my experience of building an AI product is which it's either AI oriented. That's it. That's how I picture Grift. You gather all the information based on the data that users give to the AI, or it's a holistic product, but you embedded an AI feature within it. And I think the prompt idea is more suitable for the later, which is you give options. Let's say I'm building an app for managing their assets. Then what the AI can do within this product is to give several options. Do you want me to generate a report? Do you want me to do something certain function for you? Your access is about to expire. What can I do for you? And that might answer more of back to your questions. Like a lot of the times users don't know what they want. So either we create something that guide the users to know what they want, or we give several, it's a set scene, users come to your product seeking for solutions. So you might have potential solutions for these users. Yeah, I think when I'm building the digital products, either it's AI oriented or either it's AI embedded, that's something that we are trying to provide.
Yeah, AI oriented is a kind of AI native product. So do you have your like, favorite AI native product? Can you share one or two for us?
I would say I quite like probably it's because I'm like doing this thing. So what I'm focusing on, it's all like design or creative or like plans. So I really love how Gamma, it's a
Mm.
presentation deck making. And there's a lot of websites make builder that they are trying to be AI native as well. So you give them prompt and then it will generate a lot of things for you. I love being surprised by how AI comprehends my wording or my keywords. A lot of times they give something extra, and I love that surprise because I feel like I'm collaborating with it.
Oh, Gamma is also one of my favorite product.
Mhm.
I love the sense of beauty because that by Gamma you can release your creativity and you don't have to like formatting, put a lot of attention and time on it. You can just make any kind of stories and visualize it.
Yeah, yeah. And they make the experience so easy, so streamlined. That's something that I might want to talk about as well, because as a product designer, before I studied graphic design, I actually studied social media design, and we have this early days user interface courses. And the thing that I remember the most from our tutor was still make me think from the users. And the best experience is the users cannot identify that they are being designed or the experience
Oh,
is being designed. And that's how I felt with AI as well. How I see the tools today, AI or whatever technology that is coming up, eventually it's a tool to help us to elevate our experience with other things. One of the research that we did in early days before building Grift, asking people how they think about AI, and a lot of the audience, they basically just said using two adjectives, and one is excited, one is nervous. And the nervous is came from people don't know what to expect, or people are not familiar with this new technology. And if we can try to use the product to help the users better understanding what is coming next, just like the prompt that we mentioned just now, they will getting more adaptive and getting more understanding of how it might benefit their lives. That's what's in my head when building a product. Like they cannot identify that they are encouraged to do something, but they are actually being guided to do certain things. And I think that's best user experience.
totally agree. I think it's a tricky question that when doing user research, we shouldn't like directly ask them that, do you want this feature? It's terrible, I think. And they don't know what they're gonna solve. You are also a very experienced art designer. So can you share like a story uh, that you use AI to release your creation when you are creating like uh, image, video, or just PowerPoint? Can you share us a story?
I can briefly mention that there's a community that I'm building. It's called Confused Girl. And my first idea is personally, I feel like there's a lot confusions when I'm navigating through life. I either it's job searching or relationship building, dating culture, or family issues, that sort of thing. I first had the idea I have this confusion, and when I share with others, people share. I realize that everyone is sharing the same confusion as well. So I feel less alone. Like when I asking the questions, I'm not intent to look for answers. Just like simply by people say, "Oh, I feel the same way." That it comforts me. So that's how I started this account called Confused Art, and I have several sentences, or I write my murmur downs from time to time. And I want to find a way to show or to share my murmur. And maybe some other people can feel resonate with that. I use Mid Journey and to create several pieces. I still hesitated to use this AI art because I feel like it's still a bit controversial and debating at this point. But it is to me an AI art creation journey. I separate this topic into 5 dimensions: life, job searching, relationship, families. And Yeah, I just started to create this account. I create pieces and sharing online, and I create everything through AI with this experimental project. So I want to know how far it can go. That's something that's not for profit or not for business. So I can do whatever I want. So apart from creating images through AI in that, I create my scripts. I host events through AI generation topics or through AI generated like scripts. And even the event recording after the events, the AI will generated shorts videos for me to share in through that Instagram or through other platforms, because some of the platforms that they prefer like short form, like within 30 seconds, then you can just put an ads for it. So I built this brand, basically everything through AI. Because for this confused girl, I'm the solo person. Like I have nothing, no other members. And I do it because I want it. So I think Gen AI is definitely helped me with everything's getting so easier. I don't need to look out or for other members to help me with the content writing or video editing, like everything you can do with the AI. And it gives you such a short time to achieve whatever you need. And it sort of removes the barriers of starting something new.
To summarize, if you can say only one point that AI leverage yourself, what's the one that AI help you most?
I would say it's the companion still. Because when doing, I don't know whether it's my personal thing, but I feel like tackling with a lot of tasks and a lot of time being as a product designer or being an entrepreneur, I need a mentor. There's no one there for you. And I feel at the same time alone, but it's equivalent to my helpless. And with the AI, I felt like it gives me this comfort of I have something that can give me, it's there for me with me, and it can give me constructive answers or feedbacks, or whether this AI is something like ChatGPT that we are trying to use it for practical things, or it's like Hume, it only gives compassionate response, and that's good enough for me. So when I'm like doing either like job task or these ideas that I try to make it to real life. A lot of times just come to the AI and I ask, I'm trying to do this. What would you suggest? I'm trying to do that. And can you make a draft for me? And doing this action itself, it makes me feel less alone as well. It comes back to the confused girl. So it's not necessarily I take all the advices from the AI, but I feel that I can do something. I feel like it gives me the courage to do what I'm doing and what I'm overwhelmed with. Yeah.
So have you ever used character AI?
Yeah, I did.
So how do you think about that?
I would say it I quite liked it, but there's one thing because there are so many characters and options. And I was asked to choose something first, and that's something that I wasn't really lean to because in general, like when I'm hopping on a website, like AI native website, I try to do the things that I want in the shortest time. But I have difficulties of making decisions or options. So with all these characters, I will have a question is whether I should try several characters and ask the same question and see how it responds. And maybe I will make a conclusion of all of them. But that will be too much for me at my mood at that point. So I don't use that much apart from like just generally chatting.
Yeah, like human, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk more about the AI vibe in London, also in Europe. As you mentioned before that you are currently in London. How does it feel like to build AI in Europe?
I think there's a recent report from Tech Nation, which is one of the most significant organization in the UK. And they have this report saying the UK is #1 in Europe for AI investments, home to more than 1,800 VC-backed AI startups and 20 AI unicorns. 16% of total VC investment in UK startup goes to AI companies, and UK AI startups saw a 10% increase in investment in 2023, bucking the trend of global venture capital. So I think I can like at the forefront of it within the city. I go to AI events, whether it's about AI investments or meeting other AI product founders or just in general, like people. There are business events that people from different backgrounds. I met lawyers, I met an insurance seller, I met a lot of people from different backgrounds, but they are trying to learn how they can streamline their process with the latest technology, which is AI. So it's definitely really trendy and a buzzword now. And like people from different backgrounds are trying to learn how to utilize it and within their day-to-day life with either smoothing work task or even their personal lives. And the investment scene or the startup venture capital scene shows more opportunities as well. But I'm saying that from the really subjective point of view, like by my observation from went to Austria, Vienna, and back here in London. Yeah, I think by staying in the UK, it shows more opportunity for grief. That's for sure.
It's interesting that, I haven't been to UK after GPT 3.5, so I'm really curious about the vibe there. I also wonder that if most of your friends or the folks nearby, they are building something about AI or not.
Yeah, I would say everyone who is building things, they either try to bet or introduce the AI feature for their current products, or they are trying to build an AI native product.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of the co-founders I met, by the time that I met him, they are just started. They just got their first investments from one of the founders from Instagram and some of the private investors. They are building a meeting that is AI powered online meeting. They are called Granola. And by the time that I met Sam, the AI trend hasn't come up yet. Like everything just really silent. Like, oh, ChatGPT is something like tech savvy people using it, no access to the general people. But after a year, they sort of booming up this industry, and I saw Sam and his team, it's releasing this product, and yeah, it's really good. So I definitely see there's a trend like in the UK for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting.